What's up? What's happening?
That's right. It's DMT Reviews time.
That's right.
Isn't that right, Jack Anderson?
Is this the DMT Review song?
It's
the song
any of them.
today.
It's the two. It's back and forth between these two songs for DMT Don't Miss the Podcast and DMT Reviews.
That's all that matters, dude. It's all
they're
DMT.
the DMT songs, plural.
I like
It
them.
depends on the mood. And since we saw a pretty action-packed film, this sets the tone.
Let's do it.
Sets the tone. And guess what? It's back to Marvel.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's been too
Everyone's
long.
favorite subject matter on this show.
3
since that's
weeks too
all
long.
we talk about.
Oh, mamma mia.
And that's right, boys and girls. We saw Eternals.
That's right. That's right.
And
It has left us with an eternal conversation.
it's certainly something.
It is a
certainly
film that
something.
must be discussed.
Yeah,
Yes.
it must be. It has to be discussed. So let's just go ahead and.
Welcome to the dance floor, boys.
I forgot to turn the song off.
Almost there, though.
That was almost there.
Yeah, you were on such a streak, too.
I was really nailing it.
That's
for
all
a
right.
while.
It just means you know how to do it, you know?
And also how to fuck it up.
It means you have no excuse.
Damn
Okay? Get out of here.
Ah!
Yeah, I'll talk about Eternals alone. You don't ever press those buttons wrong again.
Wah.
Yeah, you purged that.
Gotta get that shit out of my lungs.
Sammy B, what'd you think of the Eternals?
I gave it a 9 on IMDb
Mm-hmm.
for 2 reasons. One, we gotta get that review bombing back up, baby.
Yes. Indeed.
And 2, because it was just hands down one of the most unique movies visually and just even story-wise that I've ever seen. And as far as Marvel stuff goes, usually I'm going in with like loaded up on a ton of information that I saw from YouTube. And with this one, all I knew was just a little bit of backstory about them. And really the backstory of them is that they're Marvel's new gods.
Right.
And what happened for listeners, because I lectured you guys about it after the movie, was Jack Kirby. I don't know why Jack the King Kirby went over to
A hero.
DC. Yeah, I mean Jack the King Anderson doesn't quite have a ring to it.
I'm getting there. I'll shorten up my name. Jack the King.
Jack
Conqueror?
Jack the King Dean.
Yeah, there we go. Jack the King. I just changed my last name to King.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like Martin Luther and Rodney.
It'll be like a
He'll
step
join
up.
so many other black brothers with
'Cause
that great, strong, powerful last name.
Well, because it's like the carts, right? You know, you move from a Jack to a Queen to a King, right? You know, I'm at Jack right now, and maybe I could skip over Queen, but
Your mind works in such a way. I would have
know.
never gone to playing cards.
I've always thought about that. I always thought about how strange it is that there's a Jack playing card, but that's not what this is about. This is about a Jack, okay?
Yes.
Tell us about Jack. Tell us about King Kirby.
Well, that's the thing, is that these individual characters I don't know a whole hell of a lot about. I only know that Jack Kirby went over to DC, started New Gods, where he created New Genesis and Apocalypse with Darkseid and Orion and all these other gods clashing, good and evil, in the celestial heavens. And then DC just canceled the comic before he could finish the story. He was just like,
DC.
well, then you know what, guys? I'm going to say, fuck you. I'm going over to Marvel, and I'm going to
Go back home.
rebrand it, reskin it, and then finish my own story my own fucking way.
That's
Fuck you guys.
That's right.
And so that's where the Eternals came from. And what the background is of that is that the Celestials created 3 different types of humans. Like, our type of humans.
Yeah.
Eternals.
Blandos.
Yeah, the
Lames.
lamos. The lamos. But they also had the genetic, what's the word? The genetic predisposition or just, ability to develop powers.
So like mutants and
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that's how mutants and, metahumans, even though that's a DC term,
right.
Are able to happen.
Which is just
because,
so annoying in these I get it, numbers and whatnot, but like the fact that the Celestials like, all right, we're gonna make the shitty ones, and then we're gonna make some really special ones.
Yeah.
And then how it plays out is that the lame ones just really abuse the special ones.
Right.
We're really ungrateful for them.
100%. Yeah. And
we make them live in
Eternals-
isolation.
Right. I think there was only like about 100 Eternals created in total, and then yeah, so basically they are on an actual planet called Olympia, and they fuck around heavenly ways. This took it and kind of adapted the Neil Gaiman miniseries.
So they're not bebops?
They aren't bebops. They are actual organic people.
Interesting.
And I don't know where the fuck they got that from, because even in the... Because I watched the Variant Comics video leading up to this about, like, the history of the Eternals. And really what I could tell is that they were just assuming that they were going to be drawing upon Neil Gaiman's, revised Eternals story.
Wait, so Neil Gaiman worked for Marvel?
Neil Gaiman is a real deal comic book writer, Jack.
Wow.
He's
one of my favorite authors of all time.
So. He worked for Marvel. He worked for DC. That's where Sandman is. I mean, even though that's part of Vertigo Comics, which is like DC's R-rated section.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
he worked on Eternals.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he
cool.
did his own Eternals miniseries.
How awesome.
And like redefined their origins and stuff like that. And then the Deviants, they are also, a third branch of this, except they are so grotesque and mutated and stuff like that they like each one of them they don't have like a uniform racial look. They're all like beast creatures,
right?
Right. Like giant God, I'm so stuffed up this episode. This
You're
sucks.
So
stuffed up, dude.
Get that stuff out of your stuff, dude.
Ugh.
Get it out of there. Yeah, you got that vid 3 times?
No,
Good.
because
Good.
I swear to God.
What if you get it like 7 times? But like every time it's like less. It's not like you.
Yeah,
don't-
I'm just like a walking
yeah,
pathogen.
you just keep testing positive. You don't even get sick.
Sammy B, the Corona Kid. I'm probably gonna cut one of those snorts out. That was too gross, dude.
I'm in.
But like the Deviants, what they did was they started like totally overbreeding their population and just wrecking shop on all sorts of planets, and the Eternals had to go and fight them. Basically wiped them all out, and then the Deviants, they end up coming back, and they're just like, "Hey, what the fuck?"
Kind of like this. So in this movie, it's instead that the Eternals are synthoids, I guess you would call them,
basically, yeah.
that the Celestials created, because the Celestials also created the Deviants, because
And the Deviants evolved.
The Deviants evolved. So, okay, this is where I'll dive in, because obviously this movie is getting...
It's got big brain shit
big
going
brain
on.
and a lot of controversy. I loved it. I thought this was one of the most entertaining, amazing Marvel movies I've seen in a while. Now, granted, it was a lot about mythology and apex predators, which are like 2 of my 3 favorite things on the planet.
This is ringing the Jackie D bell.
I was giddy this whole movie. And, I kept thinking how, like, why do people dislike this? And then I kept thinking, I don't give a fuck. I love it. So,
Yeah.
here's where I do think people might be getting a little lost. Also, The Guardian gave it 2 out of 5 stars. The Guardian also gave M. Night Shyamalan's Old 5 out of 5 stars. So, really, if you pay attention to critics, that's your own problem.
Right. Well, I mean, it was like how, I think it was like Tenacious D got like no stars from Roger Ebert, but Knowing, starring Nicolas Cage, got 4 stars and 2 thumbs up. And it's like, hey, man, that movie sucks. And you ruined a potential Jack Black franchise.
I don't have a problem with them, having opinions on movies. We all have opinions on movies and stuff.
But it's the fact that their job is to have their opinion dictate whether this movie should be seen.
And there's only a few of them, and none of them, other than the late great Roger Ebert, Robert Ebert, Roger Ebert, made a movie. None of them have ever written.
And he made a
directed.
shitty movie.
Yes.
So I think he had the most merit, even though I was a wildly misguided rating for Knowing.
Yes, yeah.
The movie is knowingly bad.
Right. Where I see a lot of, because I don't really want to get into the socio-political issues of this movie, because I don't really understand where a lot of this is coming from.
I mean, the Jews are just up in a roar, man.
It's crazy. But a lot of what I'm seeing is like, it's trying to do too much. It's too meta. It's 2 things. This is what I think.
That's what I see too. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think it handled because it is too much. But so is the universe.
So is the universe. Exactly. It's trying to explain the universe, which is something that human beings have been incapable of.
And that's the huge just thing that's going on with Marvel is we're going deep.
Oh, yeah.
So like with
forget the Avengers.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking multiverse, universal creation.
multiple timelines, multiple universes, and also the galaxy creation itself.
These movies are their movies now. You know what I mean? Like their own movies.
Yeah.
And yes, maybe they'll interconnect and we'll bring up the Avengers from time to time and we'll this and we'll that. But for the most part, I think really what the Avengers, the Infinity Saga allowed Marvel to do was allowed it to become the Marvel movies are now Marvel comics, right? And you had to do something big, like a big Avengers franchise to get people like excited and on board and following the serialization of this story. But now that we're kind of done with the big Avengers stuff, and obviously we'll have team ups and we'll have big climax like Kang the Conqueror, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, I think a lot of these are really going to stand on their own.
Well, the household names have faded away, so to speak.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
they're almost in legend now.
yeah, because I mean, aside from like Spider-Man, Hulk and Thor, I wouldn't consider to be like the household ones,
the faces
of it. That people are just like, yeah, Hulk more so than Thor for sure. But definitely, it's like, well, without Iron Man and Captain America and probably losing Spider-Man, we gotta start creating some new characters.
And we haven't got the X-Men involved yet.
That's one thing that I was that's always been criticized, mostly by like Ryan George with his pitch meetings, is like, oh, well, the enemies always have the same powers, or the enemies aren't developed or anything. And I'm like, we get through this movie, and I'm still wondering who is the enemy here.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not like they're gonna go fight, Arishem.
They can't.
They can't.
Yeah.
They literally can't.
Yeah.
And the Deviants are just mindless creatures until that one starts absorbing Ajak and Gilgamesh.
Right, and it kind of starts developing, like you see it actively developing a consciousness, which is really interesting. So, to a fault of the movie that I will admit, I give it 7 out of 10, but again, I'm biased. Don't come to me for Marvel movie opinions unless you want to hear glowing reviews, okay?
Right.
But it's just because I have fun with them and I love them. And as our good friend...
I knocked that it off the 10 because... personally, I felt it was a little too dark in certain scenes.
Sure. And we'll definitely
literally
get into
dark.
that.
Not subject matter dark.
Right.
It was dark subject matter-wise. Let's get that straight.
Yes, and also, but with as our good friend Jabeta Boy pointed out, there is an aspect. So basically, the crux of the Eternals' existence comes down to the fact that they go to these planets to kill the Deviants to make sure that intelligent life can exist on the planet, so that intelligent life can basically, as they're killing the Deviants, they plant a seed into the planet where a celestial grows from within.
Yeah.
But that celestial needs energy from intelligent life to grow on that planet. So they kill the Deviants. The Deviants are gone. Intelligent life doesn't get hunted and can develop, right? And so the main purpose is for the planet to explode and for the celestial to come into being and for the celestial to start making more suns that can create more life. As our good friend Jabeta Boy pointed out, what about all the Guardians of the Galaxy planets? What about all these super duper advanced? Because that's the thing with Earth. Earth in this movie is like at the point of, okay, the Celestial's ready to come out.
Yeah.
Okay, the egg is ready to hatch. But what about all these other planets? And I think to that point, I totally see it. I have no real good excuse.
Well, the only thing is that the Celestials picked random planets. They sent Eternals to develop intelligent life on all sorts of planets.
Okay,
but
so
not
it's not
all of them
planets. Okay.
or seed planets.
That's important. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because otherwise,
That would be-
Xandar, all these places.
Titan.
Yeah,
Well,
Titan.
I guess Titan. I mean, Thanos was there. Thanos was
They
probably,
wiped themselves out.
Thanos was, so is Thanos an Eternal in the MCU? Let's get that.
Not exactly.
Okay.
Well, actually, I don't know because of the post-credit scene. Because, dude, the way that it presents in the comics is that the Eternals are kind of a big old family, and there's, I can't remember the name of the main guy, but, there's all sorts of them, and then there's Thanos and Eros, and they're brothers, and
Harry
Thanos...
Styles.
Yeah.
Harry Styles is going to be in the MCU, Sam. What do you think?
I was going to wait for that.
I know, but
you just couldn't help it. But the thing with those two is like Thanos had a deviant mutation in his DNA. So he's mostly eternal but part deviant. That's why he has the purple skin and is giant and is
what about the people on Titan? Do they look like him?
I think they look like people.
Oh, well, that's so cheap. I don't like when people exist on other planets. I know it has to happen because you can't make everybody in a suit and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, really? This is the perfect being form? No.
It's pretty whack.
I hate this thing.
I know. That's why Star Wars frustrates me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they do have plenty
at least
of
Dune,
aliens.
they come from Earth. Like,
it's in the future. It's
from Earth.
It's down way, way, way in the future that it's like, okay, yeah, we could have developed enough that, there are just people taking these planets.
And I mean, to the MC's credit, I don't think we've gone to a planet where no, there have definitely been. I mean, Kraglin's a human. Yeah. Never mind. It's all over the place, but that's okay because it really actually doesn't matter. Another thing to the point of maybe why this movie wasn't received super well, I saw, was that the typical Marvel humor is maybe a little out of place in this one, And okay, and we talked about talking about this, so let's dig into it. I thought a lot of jokes landed. I thought Kumail was hilarious. I thought Brian Tyree Henry was hilarious. I thought Angelina Jolie had her funny moments. Kit Harington, super funny. And I like when his jokes, like sometimes like he'd make a joke and like the giraffe thing, I thought was hilarious, and the theater wasn't buying it. And I was like, whatever, this is for me. But Jon Snow's talking about turning it into a giraffe. This is my dream.
I mean, I didn't much care for that line.
You didn't care for it?
It was just kind of one of those ones where I'm like,
it won't be a giraffe. Come on, let him be a giraffe.
I think that if they actually did something with his character, I would have been more okay with it, rather than it just being like, so he's just the bonehead, jokey boyfriend of Cersei.
Well, not for long. But this is something to the movie where I think, you know who's the funniest? Gilgamesh, for sure.
Oh,
Gilgamesh was the funniest.
I loved Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh was the best.
My, for starters, kept driving me nuts because I genuinely thought that was Wong in the trailer, the initial trailer.
You're like,
and I'm
what are they
wait,
doing?
Is Wong an Eternal? And then it's like, wait, no, it's a totally different guy.
Doctor Strange.
But it's another.
I need to leave.
Yeah, it's
That's where he's going in the portal.
Right. Yeah. No, it's another rotund Asian man.
Yes.
And
probably millions of them out there.
Yeah,
maybe hundreds of thousands, but
they're all descendants of Genghis Khan.
That's 100%.
Yeah.
Now I did I thought the jokes were good, and I think when you sign up for a Marvel movie, at this point, you're gonna get some jokes.
You gotta accept the levity.
But like you said, this was a pretty dark movie, and there's just so you've got a cast of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, arguably 11 main characters in this. And when you have that much, you got to build so much story. Plus, you're doing this massive existential universe building, literally the universe building. And I really want to touch on this in a second. You're basically positing how mythology came into being in humanity in this, which I loved. And we'll get into that more in a second. But also, you're also trying to make them human and have jokes and have these things. And I think sometimes it did undercut big moments in ways that maybe I hadn't seen before in certain Marvel movies because I was so almost romanticized with the characters that I'm like, of course Thor or Tony's going to make a joke here. Come on, you don't even know them as people.
Yeah.
Versus here, it was like, or is everybody trying to be the Avengers here?
Right. Who's the funny one?
Right. Exactly.
Who's the most charismatic one here?
Exactly. And so I can see where that draws away. But again, for me, I'm incredibly biased, so I just enjoyed it. I just had a lot of fun with it. But I could feel it from the audience a little bit versus other Marvel movies where we're all kind of in the same group mind. I just feel like this one was so big in scope that a lot of people... This is not what they're signing up for when they sign up for a superhero movie, But I don't think this is supposed to be a superhero movie, They have superpowers. It's in a world where they're superheroes, but it's about so much more, i.e., how did gods come into existence?
Right.
So basically the idea there is their minds have been wiped. They're going to Earth.
Who created the Asgardians?
And that's so cool. So in a moment, so they go Mesopotamia, 5000 BC. They land on Earth. They fight off these deviants. And they show up in front of the people and kind of show off their powers, right? And then you start going like, oh, yeah, if you were relatively, you were the first civilization in the history of a planet, and you came across people that flew and shot beams out of their eyes and could mind control you and could heal wounds and all this different stuff, yeah, you'd bow down to them and you'd start creating stories, and Sprite tells them the stories.
Yeah, Sprite makes them up.
I mean, Gilgamesh exists in this, and she tells stories about Gilgamesh that he backs up.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, he's an alien from another planet. It's the same thing.
Who is Gilgamesh in mythology?
In mythology, Gilgamesh is, I believe it's a Mesopotamian myth. I believe he's like the first hero, really, that we can recall. And basically, he's kind of the OG hero's journey, and he goes, I don't remember the story exactly, but he fights monsters. He's super strong. He becomes a king, I believe. And I really, like we were saying, I think Gilgamesh was my favorite character until he died. But we'll get to that in a second.
Makari is still alive and my favorite character.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And Makari, Mercury, Icarus is from Greek mythology. Athena's Athena. Kingo is from Babylonia. Ajax is Ajax from Greek mythology.
Kingo and Sprite are from.
Kingo, it said, was from Babylonian mythology. Sprite is more of a reference to like fairies, and like Puck from Midsummer Night's Dream, like a fairy, essentially.
Well, I mean, like straight up call her Tinkerbell.
A child, exactly. I mean, they were a little on the nose with some things, but I think you had to be, because a lot of people aren't going to get this. Fastos is Hephaestus.
And I think it created more connective tissue.
Yeah.
Like when Fastos' son calls her Athena at the end, and she goes, no, it's Athena.
And the fact that, like, they've been to all these different civilizations, and they've left their imprint on it. And the mythologies that we know and the religions and stuff is based on these people that have always been around us to varying degrees. That's so fucking cool. Right. I can't even. It's the thing that got me interested in Thor. Well, I mean, I always loved Thor in mythology, but it's where I was like, ooh, what Marvel's doing is really interesting here, where it's not a god. It's just another planet that's been able to get to Earth. And now you have these Eternals who have an even bigger scope. And even, like I told you, Kingo has a little moment where he's like, Thor used to follow me around all the time, and now he won't even, talk to me or something like that along those lines. Yeah. And just thinking of like, okay, so yeah, Thor was showing up in in Viking times and doing his thing, and he would run into these people, and they'd be really powerful, and he'd be really powerful, and they'd probably talk, and there'd probably be mythologies built around them.
To that end, I think that means we're still gonna have Thor after Love and Thunder.
I'll do 10 Thor movies, man.
I think Chris Hemsworth is the kind of actor who would be up for it, because if they let that team keep going, and I think even Natty Portman would still be on board too. I think they all, now that Taika's come in and breathed new life into that franchise, he's like, I'm down to do like Fast and Furious. We'll go
to Thor 9.
Yeah, Fast and the Thorians.
Thor 9, the final realm.
Yeah. It's T9.
It's, well, if you technically in the first Thor, you're on Jotunheim, and the second Thor, you go to Svartalheim, and the third Thor, you're kind of in hell, Helheim. I mean, you could go to all the realms. I mean, come on, Marvel. Anyway.
Let's see some Alfheim.
Let's see some
Alfheim.
Let's get some, maybe we see Nidavellir, and we need to see Vanaheim. We saw Vanaheim.
I want to see Nidavellir get back on its feet.
Exactly, me too.
It's some sort of magical remedy.
I need more Peter Dinks.
For Peter Dinks' hands.
I need it. But I've done a lot of talking. What do you think were some pros and some cons of this film, Sammy B?
Okay, so for me, really, like, the visuals, I thought the special effects, like, holy shit, God. With the gold.
And we should say, too, is, who's the director?
Chloe Zhao, who just won Best Picture for Nomadland.
Chloe Zhao got, what'd Jake say, an advanced screening of Dune.
Yeah, so she got inspired by some of the visuals that Denis Villeneuve is coming up with.
So really 2 fun movies to kind of watch back to back. Anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, because we did these back to back. And, there's plenty of Dune inspiration in it. Like, I think, especially after watching, at least the first half of Blade Runner 2049, his visual style is very cool, because it's like ancient meets future, So it's like these huge, vast, cascading halls with nothing in them except for like a seat, and all that shit. And it was similar to that in this with that. But what I was going to say is like, the gold, like wispy, wiry things that like Thena would turn into the weapons, Gilgamesh would turn into the fizz.
I loved Thena. Angelina Jolie killed it in this movie.
Oh yeah. And I was so worried. I was like, I don't know, because I haven't
trust
seen.
it. I think what they
the
did,
last thing that we saw her in was Those Who Wish Me Dead. But before that, it's like
Which
she
she
hadn't
was
done
really
like
good
hardly anything. She was great in that.
she was Tiger in Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, but that's an
Tigress.
animated thing. And then otherwise, it was like Maleficent for a decade.
And I think what really worked to their advantage with getting Angelina Jolie was just to make her like the badass character. Like she didn't have to do a ton.
No.
And I'm not saying Angelina can't do
Oh,
a ton.
I totally thought she was going to be the leader
Yeah, me too.
instead of Ajax.
And I kind of appreciated that she was willing, and Angelina Jolie's a professional actor. She's going to do what part she wants, and she's going to kick ass at it. But she's not the focus of this movie, and I think having her as almost a B character really just kind of helps you stay invested in the side characters.
Yeah.
Like if she was Ajax and some, random up and comer was Thena, maybe like Ratcatcher 2, maybe
Yeah.
we'd be blown away, but maybe we wouldn't, right? Versus get a home run hitter to play Thena, who you need to be an awesome character, and then get really talented. This cast was unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
This trivia here says Angelina Jolie signed up to play Thena because of her desire to support Chloe Zhao's vision and Marvel Studios' commitment to expand the way audience see superheroes nowadays.
I also, to that extent, I'll just say, like, what kind of disappoints me about the response that this movie's getting is I know all these people have like gone out and been like, we are very proud of this movie. We worked so hard to make this, and we really want to do something interesting. Chloe Zhao, from what I heard, she like broke her back to make this movie. Kumail Nanjiani broke his back to make this movie.
Well, they almost got blown up making this movie. There was like bomb remnants on the set in like the Canary Islands when they were filming, and like Angelina Jolie and Richard Madden almost got blown up.
Jeez, oh my God, that would have been awkward.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin would not be looking too bad.
Yeah,
if
that would
happens.
really overshadow the Rust incident.
Hey, guess what happened? Angelina Jolie blew up during a Marvel movie. Okay, don't make fun. No, for real. Oh, thank God we didn't have to go through that reality.
Like,
But
whoa.
yeah, whoa. So it's a little disappointing, but also, again, everybody's entitled to have their opinion of a movie, no doubt about it. And like, if you hated it and whatever, do your thing. But
well, and
but just know this movie was made with love. It
Right.
really, really was.
right, and you could feel it in everything. And I was gonna say, like the action was filmed in a way that you've never seen in a Marvel movie before.
Loved it.
I'll say the lighting, it was really dark and muted, and it felt very Zack Snyder-y to me. And to that end, with the tone and everything, I was just kind of like, so it seems like Justice League was DC just told Joss Whedon to make it a Marvel movie.
Yeah, make an Avengers movie.
Yeah, make that, and then even in, I would say, a little bit Suicide Squad, but they had James Gunn. They had actual James Gunn.
Don't even make it a Marvel movie. Turn it into a Marvel movie. Yeah, turn
Yeah.
a Zack Snyder movie into a Marvel.
That's what they did with
That's
this
an
movie.
impossible task.
And Chloe Zhao did it.
She did.
She
Oh,
did
yeah.
that
Yeah,
in
yeah.
this movie. She's like, what if we made a DC movie? And then they did it. And I mean, to that end, if people were expecting it to be that way tonally through, I mean, even Snyder Cut had jokes in it.
Oh yeah.
You know? And this one, the jokes were great. But the stuff we talked about, I can't remember if it was on this podcast or DMT Dumbest this podcast. But
Check it out every Thursday.
yes. But we were talking about how like this movie is just getting review bombed by LGBTQ plus people about like representation, and like I told that to Joey, and he goes, "The fuck are they talking about? Fastos is gay and has a child."
Yeah, he has the best. He has the best situation out of
I
anybody. Yeah. Again, very very confusing. Obviously not necessarily.
Well, and then like let's just go through the cast. Gemma Chan,
fantastic.
Yeah.
What a lead.
yeah, which we didn't even really talk about. Where'd Cersei come from?
Cersei is a Greek character. I think she's like a demigod. She's not on Olympus, but she's a child, I think, of Helios, the sun god. But something along with that too is this movie. It's really hard to be a main character in a movie like this, in an ensemble movie, and obviously she had to share the screen with a lot of other people. But when she was needed,
She commanded it.
she owned it. Yeah, and through being a very like. Obviously, she's the selfless, kind character that needs to step up and save the world.
She kind of reminded me of Wonder Woman, where she fell in love with humanity.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because that was the whole thing about Wonder Woman was after she left Themyscira, even though she was banished for making that decision, she was like, I love humanity.
Yeah.
You know? And so she is kind of like that, like real deal optimist.
You can tell the
You know.
struggle. She's the problem for
She's
all
addicted
these,
to her phone, Jack. She's
is.
going through human struggles right now.
She's a god who has a smartphone. I mean, that is the most dangerous thing I can imagine. But also, and an interesting aspect to this with Cersei and Icarus and all these different characters is knowing what is going to happen, which they all kind of find out at different points in the movie. But like the way they react to it, all of them conveyed the struggle of making whichever decision they ended up making, which I really respected. I mean, all the characters ended up kind of making their own decisions for their own reasons. And again, we're talking about 11 characters here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, 10 Eternals, but
Yeah, 10 Eternals. But so like you got her, you got Gemma Chan and Don Lee, Gilgamesh, Asian representation. Bam. Then you got Salma Hayek and the actress who plays Makari. I think Lauren Ridloff. And so they're both Latina, and even Lauren Ridloff is half black. Fastos is black. You got Kumail representing South Asia, and then all the white characters. You got Thena, who's an insane white lady.
Yep.
And then you got
Sprite, who's a child.
Sprite, who's representing the community of short people who can't age.
Yes,
you know?
that is a growing problem.
They have Annie Milonakis disease, because you know who Annie Milonakis is. So he was a big MTV personality guy, but he also on Crowe show on those Dr. Armand ones, he played his son Roman. He was a big fat one, but he's like 50, and he still looks and talks like he's a prepubescent. You know,
What's his name?
Andy Milonakis, Milonakis, I believe.
Oh yeah, I've seen this guy.
Yeah, Andy Milonakis, and he's got some sort of hormone deal going on, where he's just sort of always got the appearance and voice of a preteen,
Right.
and it's funny because he managed to turn it into a funny thing. But you know, Sprite's representing those people, and then.
One of the people also ask, how is Andy Milonakis 43? That is a question that you type into Google. That a lot of people have typed into Google.
Because he's so old, but he seems like he's still like a child.
Yep.
1 sec.
Oh, jeez.
But then you got Richard Madden and Barry Keoghan playing the other two white guys. And they're both Scottish and bad boys.
Oh, yeah. Leather jacket, sunglass wearers.
Ugh.
What do you think of Druid?
Okay, so Barry Keoghan, the only thing that I've ever really known him from was Chernobyl, and he was hunting down doggies and cats, who are all radioactive. And
Radioactive.
it's an important job, Jack. Don't make light of it.
Radioactive.
But the other thing that I knew he was from was this movie called The Killing of the Sacred Deer with Nicole Kidman, Colin Farrell, and all I know is a little bit of the plot is Colin Farrell is playing an alcoholic surgeon who accidentally kills Barry Keoghan's surviving parent after a car accident on the table. And so he manages to weasel his way into the family and just manipulates and tweaks shit and pokes and prods and just fucks with them until the very end of the movie, where I'm not going to spoil because I want to see the movie to actually, understand the gravity of this ending. But in all the trailers and all the promotional stuff, he looked so fucking creepy, And from that, I was able to just cast aspersions that I'm just like, oh, this guy creeps me out. You know what? I'm just going to totally disqualify him as an actor, and I'm just going to reduce him down to one physical attribute that bothers me, and that's his eyes, because it looks like he's been stung by a bunch of bees. He's been having a severe allergic reaction. And then this movie made me do a full 180 on him.
Yeah, he was great.
Oh, he was great, and I liked him because he was playing that, rebellious one where he's just like, fuck the old ways. This is bullshit. I've had to watch centuries, thousands of years of humans destroying each other when I can stop it. What the fuck?
Basically, the Eternals can't interfere in human conflicts because they need humans to just develop the way they're going to develop.
Except they're the Watchers who protect the people.
Right. Yeah. The Deviants.
Like, we'll fight the Deviants, but we're not going to do anything
We're not going to do
else.
anything for you guys. Also, quick shout out to Deviants, real quick. I was going to say what the Deviants were they created by the Celestials because Celestials need intelligent life to build up the planet so that other Celestials can be born. But apex predators, i.e. crocodiles, tigers, wolves, bears, those kinds of things, my favorites, sharks, they were killing everything. They just eat. It was a big problem on every planet. And so they're like, all right, let's make apex predators of our own, get rid of those things. But then those things started evolving. Yeah. And I loved the Deviants. I thought they were so cool. Every single one of them. Love them.
They were pretty neato burrito.
They were. I like the main one. It went from like a bear with tentacles to a gorilla with tentacles to a creepy man who is based on Kronos.
Yeah, it kind of looked like, he kind of reminded me of a little bit of Vision. Mm-hmm. Just a tiny bit, where he's just
Vision with 4 eyes.
Yeah, Vision with 4 eyes, where he's just been brought into sentiency, yep. And
he's just like, I got to deal with this now.
Yeah,
he's a trickster.
He is.
Yeah.
So he's based off Kronos.
That's what it said. It said the character is named that he is Crowe. Crowe, based on Kronos from Greek mythology. Yes.
Interesting. Interesting.
Indeed.
And I'd like to see what that version of it in the comics is, because I'm pretty sure just going to go ahead and cop out and say that Thanos was an Eternal.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. The Deviants, I think, got reduced in a similar way that I feel like the Skrulls and Kree got reduced a little bit.
Oops.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty similar to how he is. And then there's this fucking guy who is his, like, Marvel Wiki page, which looks nothing like that character.
I wonder if those action figures are from this movie, though.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
It says Marvel Legend. I mean, I don't know.
They release movie stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's like their... that's like Marvel's McFarlane's toy line, the Legends line, where they're highly detailed action figures.
Oh yeah, no, this looks more like what he was in the comics. It's like a dude in a purple suit.
Ew!
Yeah, don't like it. No. Good change, Marvel.
Way to go. Yeah, that was a good change.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of reduced them in the same way that I felt like the Skrulls were reduced in a bit, because now the Skrulls are good.
Yeah.
When they were very, very bad. But then also the Kree weren't all that good either. Mm-hmm. But now the Kree are bad.
Bad.
So I don't know. They're playing with a lot of stuff. They are taking liberties, but in the right direction.
Also, shout out to Gemma Chan. She was in Captain Marvel. She was the
she was
the gnarly one, the gnarly Kree on the crew. The one who was
I can't remember her fucking
real
name.
Mean.
Yeah, but she and Brie Larson won like the MTV Movie Award for Best Fight, even though Endgame came out that same fucking year.
Yeah, it's a little messy there.
Yeah, like I think it was that and the Big Three fighting Thanos.
Oh,
and it's like, how do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, if anything, the Big Three fighting Thanos for me.
Yeah, her name was
Minerva.
Minerva.
Yeah. I thought the Big Three fighting Thanos was a little short.
It was short, but it was still like, this is what we needed.
Oh, yeah. And you get Cap catching the hammer, and I knew it.
Yeah, it's just if Thor didn't baseball Mjolnir and knock Iron Man out and then almost get stabbed himself.
Yeah, he didn't do very well.
You did okay, buddy, but you could have done better. You could have done better, bud. Because that's the thing, is Thor in Infinity War, just with Stormbreaker, was strong enough to cut through all 6 stones blasting him and kill Thanos. He just missed the head.
Hey,
and then 5 years and a bunch of beer, and it's all of a sudden like, he can't even hack it with 2014 Thanos.
Hey, maybe that'll affect...
Who has no stones.
Maybe that'll affect Love and Thunder. Maybe he's like really not Thor anymore, he's a new version. He's a little bit more incompetent, a little bit more silly.
But even so, it was like he had 2 hammers and Thanos had no stones.
Oh, I know.
0 stones, 0 crates.
Fucking too quiet, but you know what I mean. 0 stones, 0 crates, man. But back to Eternals. Oh, that was the whole point of me bringing up the representation thing. This is the most inclusive movie of all time, and it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel Star Wars. It didn't feel Star Wars. You know what? I felt it made more sense that they were all racially diverse because they influenced so many cultures across the world.
That's another
and
huge
it just
part
means
of it.
that by the design of the Celestials, all races belong.
It's all races, all genders, all sexes, all everything, all sexual orientations.
All of it belongs.
Everything belongs. Everything is important. everything can be powerful, can be important. I mean, like, that's what this movie's trying to say. So that's where, like, this outcry of, like, this movie is closed-minded or whatever it is makes no sense to me.
Are you high? And can I get some of those drugs?
Exactly. I mean, this is the most international movie I've maybe ever seen. You know, this movie takes place over thousands of years.
Yeah.
I feel like they go to almost every continent. You know? I don't know if they go to Africa.
Because it's Mesopotamia, Babylon, Hiroshima.
They go to India. They go to Alaska. I mean, they go to London,
South Dakota. Dude, that's
South
exotic as fuck.
Well, I mean, you got to get all sorts.
And then Tenochtitlan.
Oh, the volcano goes off.
Oh, yeah, in the Indian Sea.
So, like, they got all but Australia and Antarctica.
Yeah. They didn't go to Russia, but
Chris Hemsworth is outraged that there's no Australian representation. But
well, get it in Thor 4, dude.
They will. They will.
I
Lots
mean,
of New Zealand.
It's gonna be Australia, New Zealand oriented.
Yeah, I think, like you said, though, I think you made an important point before this to, like, sometimes maybe it's not even necessarily the community is getting outraged. Maybe people are putting it out there that they're getting outraged so that other people get outraged at the various communities, which could be very true. You know, I have not met a single person from the LGBTQ community that has talked smack about Eternals. That being said, Eternals came out, you know, yesterday. So like, it's a much different conversation, but also, like, what we're seeing is all online. And when you see it online,
go on IMDb right now and you see it's climbing rapidly. It's almost a 7, which is standard Marvel.
That's good Marvel. Yeah. And that's where I think, again, critics, early reviews, all that different stuff. Yeah, listen to it, I guess, but don't believe it. You know, like, you can believe that person thought that, but you don't have to believe that that's what the movie is.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. How'd you feel about the pacing?
Good. For what it had to be.
For what it had to do. It was good pacing, but it had so much new shit to take on.
It was an Avengers-level movie that was like, it was like all the problems.
Introducing the Avengers in it.
Exactly. It was all the problems we have with DC being too quick to, like, get to these ensemble type of deals, right? But, you know, luckily, one, it's not like you're doing... Shout out to throwing out Batman and Superman several times.
Batman and Superman are now Marvel canon.
Yeah, they are a part of it.
They are now Marvel canon.
I mean, like, the amount of times that Icarus is compared to Superman, I think it's once or twice, but it is poignant.
Well, they lingered on that with Fastos' son. He is.
Yeah, he is Superman.
He flies and shoots lasers out of his eyes and is basically invincible.
And indestructible. Yeah, exactly. Like, he's Superman.
You know, and then...
They didn't shy away.
Yeah, and that was the thing with him. With Fastos' son running up to him, and he's just like, yeah, you were flying around, you had the lasers and the cape, and he goes, I don't wear a cape.
I don't wear a cape.
He's
like, oh, I'm Superman, but I don't wear a cape.
Superman.
I'm better than him, no tidy whities,
I just
no
turned
cape.
Russian real quick. When you try to hit that R with the right kind of thing, you can change your accent so quick.
I'm well aware of
how Superman.
I'm well aware of how shitty my accents are, but I don't give a fuck. Anyway, I think, again, you got to think, what's this movie doing? Introducing 10 characters. Yeah. Creating, not the creation of the universe, but
the creation of the galaxies.
The creation of the galaxies, yeah. It is also...
I liked, that was the one thing with the little explanation that Arishem was giving to Cersei, was that the universe is a constant exchange of energy. And I'm like, that's so true, though.
Yes. I mean, like...
That is very, very true.
There were a lot of holes in the execution of their plan, but the reasoning of their plan only made sense. Only made sense.
They just added, you know,
like, I didn't see the Celestials as bad. Like you said, I don't think there were any bad guys in this movie.
No,
there was.
It was just natural order and trying to stop it, because
when you're writing,
is so #special.
Because when you're writing, it really is, especially in Marvel. When you're writing, when you're thinking of conflicts, you have kind of three. And this is very generalized, but it's kind of the universal case. You have man versus man. You have man versus self, and you have man versus nature. And this movie screamed man versus nature.
Yes.
All the way through.
Which is why
if you saw it as anything else, you were misreading it.
Yeah, that's why I think they made the Deviants pure, like, animalistic evolution stuff like that.
I mean, Crowe, or however you pronounce his name, that main Deviant, like, he was tricking Thena at the end. He was being an asshole, but, like, they were fighting. But for the most part, like, it seemed like he was like, oh, shit, I'm sentient. You guys keep killing us.
He literally says all we wanted to do was live.
All we want to do is live. Just like you. You know, that's all we want to do, which is what the Eternals are doing by betraying the Celestials and killing the Celestial, right? So, and you're dealing with thousands of years. I think the pacing was good because for the most part, everything was relatively surprising to me. You know, it wasn't like shocking. It wasn't a twist, but every new piece of information, I was like, you couldn't have done that before. You had to do it now, right? And playing with time and going. Also, loved all the locations they went to because they really emphasized how genocidal our species can be.
Oh yeah, they hit them all big time.
Hit them all.
You got the Aztec genocide.
You got the Spaniards slaughtering the Aztecs. Hiroshima. There was something else that I'm forgetting, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they stopped just short of the Holocaust and slavery.
And like we talked about, the Holocaust may show up in X-Men.
I mean, it's all Magneto.
It's all Magneto.
Like, Magneto owns the Holocaust.
Yeah.
He is the token Jew of the Marvel universe.
They're saving it for Mikey Fass for his eventual return.
Yeah.
He's coming back.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
Him and Hugh Jackman. They're the only two from the X-Men universe that are coming back.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's recast.
Except Michael Fassbender and Hugh Jackman.
No, then they bring Patrick Stewart back.
Oh, you have to. You have to.
Ian
yes.
McKellen's like, oh, let Michael take this one.
I'm okay with this.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like we were talking about at the end of the movie last night, was what I noticed about those fucking X-Men movies, the newer trilogy or quadrilogy, I guess, was they kept doing that goddamn decade jumping gimmick per movie.
Yep.
So by Dark Phoenix...
When in reality, they're only taking 2 years in between all these movies.
Yes, and it's like, so in Dark Phoenix, Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen should have been playing Magneto and Professor. All the old actors should have been playing their characters in that movie.
Because the first X-Men takes place in 2000.
Yes.
So it's less than 10 years after Dark Phoenix.
Yes.
Well, I guess it's a rewritten timeline, but...
Even so, it
are the
didn't
same
change when they
aging.
were born.
Didn't change how they aged.
No.
Yeah.
And Beast, Nicholas Hoult walking around still looking like he's in his 20s, and he's supposed to be playing a 60-year-old man. James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender are supposed to be in their mid to late 60s at the point of that movie. You know, like, come on.
Yeah. Again, who made that one?
Simon Kinberg.
Yeah. Anyway,
Just be a producer, dude. Just be a producer.
make some good ones. You make some duds. It's okay. You're like any other producer.
Yeah.
Just don't write and direct. Just don't do it.
You're not a creative person.
Don't know how. Going back to Chloe Zhao, who is one of the most creative people I've ever seen.
Well, and that was the thing that impressed me wildly was like Nomadland. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but from what I can tell, is a very intimate, low budget movie from what I can tell, because it's about, a woman who's homeless after the financial crisis of 2008 and basically becomes a nomad traveling to homeless camps and all this shit. And, we get to see Frances McDormand shit in a bucket. Like, that's cinematic history.
We all wanted it.
Yes. I mean,
every time I watch Fargo, I was like, where's the bucket?
yeah. Well, I mean, like, I've been just wildly jealous of Joel Cohen because he gets to see her just take a dump every morning.
Every morning.
Every morning.
She probably uses a bucket.
Yeah.
He probably does too.
They
And they throw it out the window
have like
kings.
a palatial mansion, and then they just only have buckets
They
that they
have
shit
medieval
in. And then they have
bathrooms.
chambermaids to come and throw out their fucking matter.
This is what the Big Lebowski got you, isn't it? Oh, yeah.
Oh, we save a lot of water.
It's true. We do have a climate problem, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe you should start using buckets.
Oh, that was the thing. So in the climax when Cersei turns the celestial
Tell
into
me
stone.
all about your feelings about this, because you had a guffaw when you saw the celestial like out of the ocean that made me laugh.
I did because it just. Because now you can zoom out from Earth and just see this thing like climbing out of the crust of the core of the Earth and then dead.
Yeah, there's no getting it out of there either.
No, it's there now forever. Like, that's what made me laugh is I'm like, they changed the planet forever in this movie. So
really,
now going forward in Marvel movies, if they plan on ever having anything going on near the Indian Sea, they have to keep that in there.
Well, and you have to think about the reality of what Earth is now after everything that's happened through these movies.
Yeah.
They saw that, the people of Earth saw that, because they obviously missed the whole event. And then they were like, what's that doing in the ocean? And they were just like, put it on the news at 10, it's no big deal.
It's like, weird shit happens here.
We lost half the population for 5 years,
We're
and then they came
no
back.
longer surprised by things.
By anything.
Yeah, like, then that was the thing. So first thing was with that, I thought she turned him into ice, and I'm like, oh, so they're solving the climate problem. And I would go, wait, no, that wouldn't solve the climate problem. If anything, that would make it worse because then he'd just melt and fill the oceans even faster. So that was my big mistake right away. But then I was having such a
Didn't she turn him into salt?
stone.
Stone. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was the thing that frustrated me during that sequence was I'm like, I have no idea scale. Scale is fucking me up here because one, I didn't know where they were,
Right.
You know, so I didn't know what the scale was, like how big this island was versus the hand, how big the celestial itself is, and like the fingertips, the individual fingertips and the hand coming up through, like were massive, and I'm like, well, how big is this fucking thing? And so I was just completely fucking confused on scale, even when you see it like hanging out of the water, its head and everything.
How did it fit in there for so long?
I don't know.
How did
it
they
just must have been
always-
growing because of all the energy, which somehow it's figured out how to channel because we just exist.
Yeah.
But neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there.
Making sense of it is not our
It's
job.
not the point.
The thing that saved the scale for me was having Arishem literally show up at the very end of the movie and standing next to Earth, and Earth is like a big beach ball.
Yeah.
Basically inside. It's like one of those yoga exercise balls.
Right.
Basically.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, that makes a little bit more sense. Now I can understand scale a little bit better.
I can believe it a little
But
bit.
then I think that's hilarious that that happened at the end. So celestial stone sculpture appears in the Indian Ocean. Nobody knows. They're just like, oh,
well,
I guess that's there.
that happened on Wednesday.
Like, that's a thing now. And then, you know, she's walking around with Kit Harington, and he's like, I don't care what you are. I just love you, you know? And then all of a sudden, Arishem shows up, and he just whoop,
Yeah.
right up to Earth. And then I just can imagine anybody else on the planet being like, what the fuck? And then he just like pulls Cersei. Did he pull the rest of the Eternals up or just her?
He got Kingo, Cersei, and Fastos because they
Okay.
were the ones that were still on Earth.
Yeah, because Thena and Druig and Makari
all left on the ship. Ajak is dead. Icarus flew into the sun. And
Sprite is
human. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, because that kind of threw me off. I thought he was just talking to Cersei, and then I thought he put him back there, but no, he just took him with him. He was like, no, I'm going to judge him.
Yep.
But I think that he's going to reach the conclusion that Earth can stay.
Yeah,
because that's the whole thing that everybody reaches in the Marvel universe is
look
that
through your
Earth is the
memories.
one planet worth saving ever.
Every time.
Ever.
You have to preserve Earth.
Yeah.
Even though we are the most frail, easily, the humans themselves. The only.
Genocide,
Yeah.
rape, war, racism, all the stuff. The stuff worth saving.
The only humans that make.
Pharmaceutical companies poisoning their patients.
The only humans that make an impact and prevent. Because I don't count, obviously, Thor. I don't count Hulk, even though Bruce Banner's a human. I don't count Shang-Chi, even though he's a human, or T'Challa, because he's a human. I count Tony Stark, because he's in the suit.
Yeah.
I count Black Widow, because she's, just a
Hawkeye.
spy. Hawkeye. And that's really about it. Even Steve Rogers is super enhanced.
Well, everything special about him came out of a bottle.
That's right.
Out of a bottle.
Lay down a line. Let the other guy crawl over you.
I think I just cut the wire.
Classic scene. That scene allowed all of this to happen.
Yeah, I think it's so funny. That's one of my things. I want to try and find that trailer to try and find the difference in the same way that
Welcome to the dance floor, boys.
wasn't in the actual final cut. Was for the trailer of the Avengers and then the movie of it, the genius billionaire playboy and philanthropist line is read differently. In the
really?
trailer, he just goes, the big man in a suit of armor. Take that off, and what are you? He goes, genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Just like,
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
yeah, just very fun. Just
a couple
But
things
then in the
for you.
movie, he's like, genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Like two totally different readings.
Totally
but
different.
in the trailer, he's genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Tony Stark.
Just side notes,
I'm fun. I'm a fun guy.
Sam, let's get into Kamal.
Yeah, let's talk Kamal.
Let's really, because this is big. This is one of our boys from the stand-up community, and he is a Marvel hero. now.
Yes.
He is ripped. He is dancing. He is shooting blasters out his fingers.
He's living our dream of, being a comedian who's also a mega nerd and then becomes a Marvel hero.
That's right. He literally is doing it.
I mean, like, I'm still campaigning for you to be Hercules.
Really, I want it. I want it bad. Kevin Feige.
Kevbo, give us a ring.
Come
DMT.
on, come on.
DMT at gmail.com.
Look at me.
DMTpcast at
I
gmail.com.
got bigger arms than Chris Hemsworth. Come on now. Come on.
man.
Yeah, come on.
Get Jack Hercules.
I can whoop his ass.
Yeah.
Come on. on.
And then you could go up to
Give me a
Rock and
Thor
just
5.
be like, hey, man, I was a better Hercules than you.
Make Russell Crowe my dad.
Exactly. Honestly, the resemblance is enough.
It could work.
It's enough.
It could work.
He is just a thick, boxy-headed man
Just, just like me.
with an Australian accent.
That's right. And I'll day in Australian accent, you know.
Jack, I think you got to go prove yourself. This is how you're going to get this role. You got to prove that you can play Russell Crowe's son. So what you got to do is you got to check into a hotel.
Okay.
And you got to go into your room. First thing you do before you even unpack. Don't even pack.
I won't.
Just rent the room. Go in there.
I'll just wear my Gladiator t-shirt.
Good. God damn it. Go for long stretches of
Okay.
talking.
Do you think he would like it if I wore no, wait, Ryan Gosling wears the cast and the Nice Guys. So
Yeah.
never mind. I won't
No,
wear,
no,
I won't wear a
no.
cast.
You carry around a case of Yoo-Hoos.
Ooh, there we go.
There you go.
I'll just walk up to him.
Yeah,
with
no,
a case.
yeah. You hand him a case of Yoo-Hoos, and then but you tell him what you did at the hotel, Jack. You walk in right into the room, and then you grab the phone, unplug it, rip it out of the wall, walk down to the front desk, and then just chuck it at the guy's head.
Oh yeah, big time.
And then you'll prove to Russell Crowe that you are his son.
That's right.
Because, like father, like son,
throwing phones at heads.
Exactly.
That's all. That my dad did it.
That
You
is
better
my
believe I would be
like,
doing
that.
it.
Is my favorite visual of Russell Crowe is him just chucking a fucking hotel phone at somebody's head because he was mad that it wasn't working.
Yeah, you just got to wonder what his day was like that
And
day.
it was probably not working because you had to probly press 9 to
some
dial out.
star or something like that,
dial
yeah.
9 for out, like what?
Did he hit the person in the head?
Yeah. Yeah, he threw it at their head.
I thought they maybe ducked. Never mind. So I got to make contact, is what you're talking. I can't just.
I mean, it wasn't severe enough.
Right.
I don't think the charges were too harsh.
but I can't miss, right? If I miss, Russell's not going to take me
Yeah.
in. No way. No way am I going to
No,
be.
Jack, you got to beat him.
I will not
You
be
got
Zeus's
to beat
baby.
him.
Okay.
You got to beat him right in the head.
Beat him. Gonna. Oh.
Yep.
What was that for? It's not
100%.
working.
You're fucking it up.
And then he's just like, Kevin Feige, he should play Hercules.
Get Jack to be Hercules.
That guy.
Let's talk about the twist.
Which one?
Well, the big twist with Icarus.
Oh, sure.
Because I mean the first twist. Like before we talk about Kumail, I want to talk about this stuff. Let's close with Kumail.
Got it.
For the big twist, the first big twist was that the Eternals are not there on Earth to help humans or intelligent life develop and protect them from the Deviants for that reason and that reason alone.
Right.
They're there to help the human population reach a certain point so the Celestial can break out. And Cersei's like, oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, Ajax 2 was like, I love these people.
Yeah.
I won't do it.
Well, back in Babylon,
Yeah.
which every time I see Babylon spelled,
Babylon?
I only think of Babylon because of Cade Fabello in freshman year. We were talking about something, and they referenced the Gardens of Babylon, or they kept saying Babylon in it. And he just, every time in the class, he just kept harping on people. No, it's Babylon! Babylon! Just no matter what.
That's pretty good.
It's like, it's Babylon! the whole class.
What'd you think of Babylon?
Babylon was cool. I didn't know Babylon was blue.
Yeah, very blue.
I want to go see the gardens in real life.
It looked like a nice spa.
Yeah. So what makes it a wonder of the world? Is it because it's still intact, or is it because the garden's still growing? Or both?
Actually, no. Let me
Look
give
it
it a
up.
goog.
The Gardens of Babylon. Give it a
While
goog.
you explain the twist, I'll give it a goog.
Okay. So the twist with the Ajax though was Ajax singular. This is not Ajax like Deadpool or the soap, the dish soap. Which, speaking of Greek mythology and the dish soap, Jack, do you remember what Jake said about the dish soap joke?
No.
Yeah, he said. He goes. I think it was. Do you know why they named the soap Ajax? Because the Greek hero Ajax was strong enough to lift Greece. You get it, Jack?
Let's move on. It says that the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were the fabled gardens which beautified the capital of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, built by its greatest king, can't pronounce it, the second, one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. They are the only wonder whose existence is disputed amongst historians. So I would think it has to be like probably the kind of like how the pyramids, like they're not like they're standing, but they're falling apart, but they're still there.
And really, it's all speculation as to how that happened.
Right, exactly. And so I think it's the same thing with like, people have seen the city of Babylon and been like, how the hell did they do that?
Right.
At
They
that
didn't
time.
go to Egypt in this movie, did they?
No, Egypt.
Interesting.
Which was I don't know, because it was like 500 something BC when they were in Babylon.
Yeah.
And they were talking like Babylon was like the only place in the world.
Yeah.
And I was like, 575. Okay, we've gone through Egypt, we've gone through Greece, we've gone through the Chinese Empire, the Indian Empire, we've gone through
Judaism has been around for 2,500 years.
Yeah, Rome is strong at this point. Like this, that was very confusing.
It was very confusing. And also them saying like it was thousands of years. Oh wait, no, never mind. No, I had that mixed up because I thought Makari was gonna die in that scene.
And if Makari dies, I riot.
Also,
shout out to Makari. We didn't even mention represents the disabled community.
She's deaf.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking phenomenal. I loved her character.
Oh,
so
she was
much.
great. Yeah.
And also, I mean, I have a sweet spot for speedsters, but gorgeous, funny, fast.
Mm-hmm.
You got Sammy B's vote. And with Babylon was Ajax let everybody go. Oh wait, no.
They left.
Ajax left in Tenochtitlan.
Yeah, because Druig did the thing.
So Icarus had known
also,
about...
I loved how much everyone was so annoyed about Druig and Makari's little budding romance.
I know, right?
Everyone's like, "Stop it!
I hate everything about this."
Loved it, but also it's kind of like I think King goes into Makari as well. He knows all the sign language.
Perhaps.
So he's just kind of like.
I mean, they all know all the sign language.
Well, yes, but he seems to be the one that speaks it with her more than anybody else.
Right.
He's like her go-to, until Druig. But, we'll get to that.
Yeah. But that was the twist, was Ajax, after letting everybody go, after, Druig broke up the conquistadorian genocide of Tenochtitlan. Is it Tenochtitlan or Tenochtitlan?
I think it's Tenochtitlan.
Okay.
The latter.
Okay. Mm-hmm. But he brings them all and starts his own convent, basically. A co-op convent thing in the woods, kind of like Magneto had in Dark Phoenix.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
Oh God!
Can we just get away from those Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix forever? Oh my God! just so bad.
Much pain.
You should have never signed on, James McAvoy.
Come on, Jimmy Max.
Come on, Jimmy Max. Oh man, yeah,
after Ajax let them all go, she's like, she lived amongst the people, saw them people love and laugh. They were shitty to each other, sure, but all the good stuff. And then also the Avengers.
Freaking
the Avengers. Thanos wiped out half of the universe, which really slowed down the emergence. Which, I mean, you got the emergence, the convergence.
Yeah.
Can we get
Lots
rid
of
of these?
vergences.
Can we get rid of these jinxes?
Yeah,
I don't like these jinxes.
Yeah, these jinxes are real problems.
These jinxes are really fucking up the universe.
Yeah,
and
if
the
we didn't have
Marvels.
some jinxes, Earth would be fine.
Yeah,
we wouldn't need the
too many
Avengers.
jinxes.
Too many jinxes.
Yeah. It's funny because it's
these
like
gens, but also these jinxes seem to get solved very quickly. Solved in one movie.
It's so funny because Earth in this movie, it really came apparent to me that it's like Earth in the standings of the Marvel universe is like Gotham City, where it's just so much fucking shit happens there that you're just like, how does anybody still live there?
You know what I'm realizing is I think this is where great Marvel movies are separated from ones that people, don't necessarily love, is this movie, Shang-Chi, Thor the Dark World. I mean, all these movies.
Wait to watch Shang-Chi again.
I know. It's what an amazing movie. But they all deal with truly world-ending events. It's like how many times can the world almost be imploded versus some of the
I feel like at a certain point, the humanity would just kind of get numb to it. It's
Right.
like, well, either they'll save us again or this is the time we go.
like in the Avengers.
We have buckled up and said our last goodbyes 5 times at this point.
Yeah.
I am sick of it.
Well, because the really good ones, Iron Man, very personal. Thor Ragnarok, it's about Asgard. It could be about Earth, but we're well focused on Asgard before we even think about Earth. Civil War, it's about them. Right, it's about the Avengers, and obviously Avenger level threats are for the Avengers.
Yeah, Thor: The Dark World was the only other world-ending event.
All the Spider-Man,
he did it himself.
All the Spider-Man movies are very personal,
and also usually due to the actions of Tony Stark.
Yes, exactly.
Fallout of Tony Stark.
Fallout Tony. He constantly sets Peter up to die without meaning to,
and then gives him $1 billion technology that can level cities.
WandaVision is very much about what Wanda's doing to that town, you know, like the stories that really hit home, I think, for people. Loki is obviously very meta. It's like too meta that, everything could end in that, you know, like it's so much about that it becomes personal. This movie needed to have a world-ending stake. I think you can't have gods without the end of the world.
That's true, very true.
But I think people do, similar to the thing, oh man, the villains are the same they're the same as the hero, which also, I mean, I know we've talked about this on here before, but like if Tony Stark existed, people would steal that technology and he would have to stop it. If Ant-Man existed, people would steal that technology and he would have to stop it. If Steve Rogers existed, people would make super soldiers and he would have to stop them.
That's the whole thing.
This is how it goes.
You know, and then Black Panther, it was a cultural thing, and they thought that fucking T'Challa was dead.
Yeah, exactly. So, like it's and it's a good Marvel movie really does weave those things really well. Like they don't necessarily.
I don't know why it is a complaint.
Right, exactly.
Because it that's the point, is to give a dark reflection of these heroes so they can overcome the dark. It's a metaphor. That's what it is. It's a metaphor. Is that they can overcome those darker, baser instincts that those people
and I think
gave into.
When you're a big enough franchise like Marvel, you're on Transformers, Fast and Furious level, Jurassic Park level movies. Like
also name a character who has the same powers as Thor.
Right. I mean, you could say Loki, but no, not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah,
and
like,
then Malekith, he had the ether. It was an Infinity Stone.
Hella, totally different.
Yes.
You know, and that's where I think when you make a big movie like this, so many people are going to see it. So many people aren't going to be into superheroes and maybe be forced to see it. Think about the number of partners that go to these movies that don't want to go to these movies, and because again, a good review will never get loud. A bad review will be screaming from the mountaintops. You know what I mean? That's just how things work out. So this is, again, why paying attention to things online, I personally have to, like, calm down when I see these things.
Yeah, I'm, like, kind of offended by the reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Not the user reviews, the critic reviews, where I'm just like, you guys have been bitch moaning and complaining all these years about how fucking, Marvel's just starting to do the same thing for all their origin stories and all the villains are the same. And then they get the most unique, different movie and they're like, this doing too much.
Yep, exactly.
Like, no. You don't get to have that opinion.
Let's
bad reviewers.
Bad reviews.
Bad critics.
Like
bad critics.
So Screen Rant. I trust Screen Rant because all they do is movies.
Yes.
While Eternals
and
has
Ryan George.
While Eternals has the most of the benchmarks of a Marvel movie, Zhao's sprawling superhero epic is unlike anything the MCU has ever produced before. Now let's go to The Guardian, who I mentioned, who gave it 2 stars. It's not exactly boring. There's always something new to behold, but nor is it particularly exciting, and it lacks the breezy wit of Marvel's best movies. One of the strengths of the MCU to date is how it has taken time to define each of its characters individually and lay out the grand narratives over successive movies, building a sense of momentum. Here, it's all thrown at us at once. That's because that's how it is in the comics. The Eternals are a family.
They're all introduced in one issue. One issue that's like 20, 30 pages,
I don't want an Icarus movie. I love Richard McFadden.
No. It's just Madden.
Madden.
You and Joey both were saying McFadden.
It's very easy. And he is amazing.
He's like John Madden.
Exactly. How do I not know that better? He's amazing. But I don't need a movie about that character. I don't need a movie about Cersei or Athena or Kingo. I like them. If they happen, I will see them. And I'll probably see them a couple times. But
they're not strong enough individuals.
It is about the group more.
Yeah,
it really
is.
They're
a family. It's a family dynamic.
And I think
the only other movie that's done like a family thing is, Guardians found family. Right. And then Black Widow, circumstantial family.
And the hands down strongest scenes in this movie are when they're all together. Or when they're all interacting and talking and debating and all that different stuff. And some of them go bad. Like, that's the thing. You have so many characters. They're not all superheroes. You know what I mean? Like, that just... And The Guardian is a news outlet, right? So they don't just review movies. They have somebody who reviews movies for them and brings it in. And I just... that's... I get it. And it's their job, and they get paid more than me to do that. And
What's Empire's review?
I didn't see it. I didn't see Empire on there. Let me take another look. I did just look at the top and the bottom. So Empire is not on the initial Metacritic spot, but
I'll click on it.
see if
go
we can find
deeper.
it. Because I do trust Empire's a big
Entertainment Weekly is another one. Hollywood Reporter, I trust. All of those are, and I think The Observer is another entertainment magazine. I trust entertainment magazines, but Washington Post, get out of here.
Yep.
New York Post, get out of here. Yeah, let's see. Entertainment. Variety, that's the other one. I trust IGN, even though they're mostly video games.
But they're nerds.
Empire gave it 60.
Really?
Yeah.
60
Director
is
Chloe
3 out
Zhao's,
of 5.
Yeah. So director Chloe Zhao's entry into the superhero world is assured, ambitious, and told on a dizzyingly cosmic scale, but even it can't escape the cliches of superhero storytelling. Get the fuck out of here, man. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Good guys struggle and
So-
win and end.
That's my problem with people complaining. Is like, well, they're all the same now. It's like, they just started, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So do you expect them to just completely deconstruct and reinvent the wheel? Like, I feel like the Batman is going to try and do that the best it possibly can. Because, I mean, like, fuck some of the visuals in that. You're just like, I've never seen that in anything.
Well,
like the bat signal, for example. Like, all that rusty hewn metal and shit.
That
You're
would
just
be
kind of
cool.
like, okay, well, this is supposed to be real gritty and unique. This is not your average Batman movie. Matt Reeves really wants to try something different.
And a huge part of the MCU, it's like Dune. Dune was made for people that read the book. Everybody else either had to get on board or shut up about it. You know what I mean? That's really, if you watch that movie for what it was, that's what it was trying to say. It was like, you read the book and you're going to love this. You haven't read the book, you're going to get into it. Or you didn't read the book, you're not going to get it. And why should we listen?
Right.
You know? And that's what I think the MCU is to an extent. The MCU is made for people like you and me. We're not reviewing this movie from a state of cinephiles, from a movie critique. We are nerds who are invested in the mythology of this world. They're all different to us because we care about the reality that's built in there. These people are just paid to go sit at the theater and judge it objectively based on, action cut.
It lacks the subtle composition and mise en scène of a Wes Anderson movie.
Right.
It's like, well, you didn't go to see a Wes Anderson movie, fuckface.
Versus, you and me are sitting here like, oh my God, like imagine what the Celestials are going to mean going forward to this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, it's a little confusing, it's a little chaotic, and like we mentioned, it might not make the most sense in the world. I mean, it makes sense, but it might not be the most believable. Doesn't matter, because the key is you just go along for the ride, you have fun with what they say, and you see where they take the story going from there. None of it is like inauthentic. That's the only thing that'll get me about a movie is if it's inauthentic. I can't stand that.
That's the diversity in Star Wars. Inauthentic. This was authentic because, like we were saying, it means that everyone belongs.
It means everyone belongs.
They were part of the grand design.
Yeah, this movie, it was a lot of things. It was not what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't made for profit. This movie was not made to make a big budget,
Right.
It was made because they were like, we have this awesome mythology in this world.
We'll take the Marvel label and use that as an exposure tool, really.
Because it's a Marvel property.
Well, it is, but it's more like the most Marvel thing, though.
Significantly, yeah.
And so, like, by any means, the Marvel Studios banner is just kind of a marketing tool to get it, people to go see this unique thing. And the critics are mad about that.
Well, I was listening to Brett Goldstein talk to Pete Holmes about Brett Goldstein, Roy Kent on Ted Lasso. Amazing show.
Roy fucking Kent.
He was telling Pete, he's like, essentially, everybody wants the thing they loved. They want it back. They need it back. They beg for it. And the studio makes it. And they make Frasier too. You know what I mean? They get Frasier back. And then people are like, it's not the same. I didn't love it. I don't love it as much as I did. Oh, they're idiots. They suck. And it's like, maybe things just changed. Maybe you didn't know what you were looking for. You know what I mean? Maybe this was and I've been clamoring for Marvel to get a little bit different post Infinity Saga, and they have. If they have only done things, I mean,
Well,
Black Widow maybe.
Yeah, the amount of people that I've talked to after Endgame that are like, I don't think I'm going to see any more Marvel stuff. I think that's good enough for me. I'm like, yeah, but now
Good
they're
for you.
trying. They're trying all this new shit that I'm like, it's making me very difficult for me at least
It's
to just be like, it's another Marvel thing. Now it's just like, what are they gonna do next?
as somebody who loves world building and mythology and storytelling and that these, I mean, Marvel and DC are American mythology. I mean, I've said it 1,000 times and I'll say it 1,000 more. These are our myths, So it's cool to bring in old mythology into our current mythology and make it work within that universe and play around with that. And if that's confusing or boring to you, okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. But that is not going to change the way I view this movie. I loved this movie.
Let me enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we're also very much like reactive right now.
Very much so. I know.
We're just like, we're taking it like personally.
But it's good podcast content.
Yeah, we're taking it personally.
People love when you and me get mad.
But no, I didn't even finish the twist with Icarus.
Yeah, we gotta get back to that.
Where it's like Ajax has faith in humanity and she wants to stop the emergence, and he's like been holding on to this secret since Babylon. So even before everybody broke up, Icarus knew that's what their purpose
Before
was.
he married Cersei.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about the sex scene.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Gratuitous.
Didn't need it.
That was
Didn't
gratuitous.
need it. Yeah, Marvel, we get it. People fuck. People fuck. We all know that. All right, move on.
If anything, it's just going to upset parents.
But
then again, this was also like the most mature Marvel movie.
Jim Chan and Richard Madden are hot. We know they fuck.
It was gratuitous.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing. I was watching it, and like literally, I was just sitting there, and I'm like, this doesn't serve the story.
You could tell
This
the whole
doesn't
theater
serve the
was just
story.
like
the marriage. Yeah, everybody was sitting there like, wow, he's really thrusting.
Yeah.
They were like,
they're
it was-
fucking.
Yeah, it was borderline, straight up HBO sexy.
Jim Chan's giving a, she's
Yes.
giving a, that's kind of stuff,
The theater felt less awkward when Fastos kissed his husband than when those two were fucking. That's how that actually went down.
Yeah,
that was
true.
the funnier thing. And I was just watching that, and I'm like, yeah, didn't need it. Totally unnecessary. The marriage sequence alone was enough to establish their
They love each
stuff.
other, yada yada.
Sex doesn't need to be in a Marvel movie. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it made sense for Tony Stark, but the only thing that you saw was the aftermath with Leslie Bibb and Iron Man 1. That's the only sex that
You
you've
saw
seen.
her
with
in
it.
her panties,
Yes.
but she was wearing a shirt as well, so
And
doesn't even count.
Jarvis offering waffles.
That's right.
And I just still firmly believe sex doesn't belong in Marvel. And honestly, I just don't think sex really warrants a lot of merit in movies.
Yeah.
It was one thing as a gimmick in the 80s and 90s where it was like, people want to see tits. We'll get people to buy tickets and we got tits in this movie. Now it's just kind of like, there's so much porn out there that, you go to the porn for the sex, not the story. You go to the movie for the story, not the sex.
Right.
It just needs to be implied. That's all I think I need.
Yeah.
You know?
They banged on a rock.
Yeah.
That was the end.
Yeah. That we don't need that. Honestly, it could have just been them having a very charged kiss and then cut to the next scene where they're just laying covers, like they do in so many other PG-13 movies.
Yeah.
You did not have to have them fucking. Did not have to have them fucking.
Bang, bang into the room.
You know?
You want it. Bang, bang all over you.
The only thing that I could say, but even that doesn't qualify it, is how much of a connection and real love that he has for Cersei.
Right.
In the end, that turns him, literally makes him unable to use his own powers, So, but he's like one of those people that, he's been taught his existence and he's accepted that. And he doesn't want to change it if that's what he was created for, because he has total and utter faith in Arishem. And Ajax going back on it, and he's like, motherfucker, I've been following you like forever.
Forever, man.
Like, no, this was our purpose.
What are we doing?
So he throws her to Crowe, and he absorbs her power, and he drops her body off and plays out a whole murder sequence. Which that was my thing with that, was he gets so upset that he shoots his lasers across the screen a little bit, and I go, none of the Eternals thought that was suspicious, that 2 laser beams were cut through the ground in this barn.
This is how there's parental guides on IMDb.
Yeah.
Here's the sex and nudity notes for for it. Two characters passionately kiss each other on a beach with bare shoulders and a couple of brief thrusts seen if you pay attention. Scene doesn't last longer than 5 seconds. Passionate kisses between couples. Two characters have sex in the movie. A kiss is shared between two men who are in a relationship. There's a clip of two guys kissing. Those are all different. All the ones I read.
That's pretty funny.
So it means that different people are adding this. And I love that there's like, one, two characters passionately kiss with bare shoulders. They thrust if you really pay attention, but it's not that big of a deal. And then the next person, two characters have sex in this movie.
Yeah.
And then a kiss is shared between two men who are in a relationship. Yeah, two dudes are making out in this thing.
these two fucking dudes.
Watch out. There's two dudes.
You better watch out. Buckle up. They're two dudes, and they have a fucking kid, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
Oh, I hate the people make me so mad. This planet is not worth saving, Eternals.
I think that's so
Let
funny.
the Celestial
Exactly.
come, okay? This is maybe another planet.
The internet really solidified that.
Yeah. The internet proved that the Eternals were wrong.
Yeah.
Icarus was right.
Yeah, but here we go. Gemma Chan and then eventually Sprite addicted to their phones.
Addicted to their phones. God damn it.
They sucked in.
The Eternals are becoming part of this.
Yeah, which is funnier too because that means that Cersei has been participating on social media for a while now.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And she's seen every part of what social media has to offer.
Oh, yeah.
And
I bet Cersei's watched porn. I bet
Oh.
you she has that private tab open.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I bet she doesn't even clear out her internet history, so she knows which videos she can go back to.
She can just hold the phone and change it. You know what I mean? She just turns it
yeah,
into something else.
It just turns into two people fucking on her palm.
Oh no, it's not. It's not porn. I promise. It's just
It's real sex with
It's-
small people. But the thing with Icarus, it got to that point at Droog's village, and I'm like, who's like the real villain here? Because Arishem, he's just the creator. You know, it's all about creation and all that stuff. So he's just doing his divine purpose. The Eternals, they don't want to do that because they like humans too much, and then the Deviants just want to survive.
I just want to live.
So, but there were a couple shots in the village with Druid of Icarus, and I'm like, it's gonna be Icarus. Dang, Rob Stark.
Of course it is. He's
Gotta
too
be Rob
serious.
Stark.
He's too serious.
But
Stark boys.
I thought it was fitting because it's like, well, you gotta have Eternals fight Eternal.
You do.
You know?
It's the only one that they can match up with, and this movie really doesn't need a bad guy. Yeah, you need
because it's really
complicated
just man,
questions.
like you said, man versus nature.
Exactly, and
know,
part of that is
Us
different
fighting
beliefs.
the divine, plan.
Yeah, exactly. And while we're on it, I mean, let's talk about the other Stark boy briefly.
Yeah, Kitty Harington.
Guys, don't worry. He's not just a boyfriend who makes jokes.
Yeah, he's not Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah, no.
in the Dark World.
He is the Black Knight.
Yes.
Sam, tell us about the Black Knight.
I don't know very much about it. I'm actually just going to go ahead and pull him up because you and Joey kept asking me.
He gets a
I'm like,
bippity boppity sword at the end.
I mean, a bippity boppity sword.
Bippity
Jack.
boppity sword.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
it speaks to him.
Why the fuck does Google Chrome just reset me to Yahoo search? What the fuck? You're Google. Use Google.
Yahoo!
So stupid.
Is the Black Knight your favorite character?
Yes, he's my 100% all-time favorite Marvel character. Ever since I saw him in Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Were you so stoked? Were you more stoked when you saw that he was getting the sword than when you saw Harry Styles was going to be Thanos' brother?
Which we got to talk about.
Yeah.
No, because I barely know anything about Black Knight. That's why I have to Google him right now.
He's
Not
gonna go,
Yahoo him.
He's going to go save Cersei.
Is he?
I don't think he can.
I don't think he can
I
either.
don't think there's any way he could.
But-
He's just going to end up like fighting someone we love. That's what's going to happen.
no, he becomes an Avenger as everybody eventually does. Everybody becomes an Avenger at some
What's it
point.
going to be? It's going to be Shang-Chi,
Yeah.
the Black Knight.
Ooh, he has a
Lady
big part
Thor.
in King in Black. Ooh, with the Ebony Blade versus the what's it called? This is the Necro Sword. That's right, right?
The one that Gore has?
Yes.
Mhm.
So I think that's where the Ebony Blade also came from. Is Null.
Oh,
Null, the symbiote god.
interesting.
But I want to see where are powers and abilities? Please, just give me that. There we go. Powers and abilities. Powers none. Intelligence 4, strength 2, speed 2, durability 5, energy projection 4, fighting skills 5.
Uh-huh.
Abilities: gifted scientist, expert swordsman, magic immunity, skilled martial artist,
I did
expert
love
horseman.
all of the settings at the museum where him and Cersei worked. There was a gorilla skull. There was a tiger skull. There was a model crocodile.
There was a hanging whale from a
hanging
ceiling.
whale from a ceiling. Yes, there was Charles Darwin.
Which, for a second, I'm like, did they film this downtown?
I know.
Then I
it
just
looked
go,
like the
wait,
Denver Museum.
I guess other museums are allowed to have whale skeletons. Denver Museum of Nature and Science isn't unique
How'd you
unless
think
you're
of,
watching the Social Dilemma.
Upon hindsight, that Charles Darwin thing was a little bit on the nose, but I liked it. I'm a big survival of the fittest guy.
Yeah. Now that you pointed that out, it is on the nose.
I love the Galapagos Islands.
Yeah. You love the Galapagos Islands?
100%, dude. The turtles and the iguanas.
For the longest time, I thought
the birds.
the Galapagos Islands were the real Jurassic Park Islands because they are in the location of where Isla Nublar and Isla Sorna are.
It's true. It's true.
But they're the Galapagos Islands.
Sam, what is Harry Styles going to do? Because I hope he's not in it for more than 20 minutes. Any Marvel franchise. And he's already cut 3 or 4. So he can really only be in it for like 16 more minutes, or I'm not going to be happy.
Okay. Well, I don't know. That's the thing.
I want him out.
You want him out.
I want him gone.
This is just...
He just showed up, and I want him gone.
Get out of here, Harry Styles.
I don't care if you got a little troll that does your intro.
Jack is Pip the Troll.
Pip the troll.
Pip the Troll.
Who cares? Give me Adam Warlock.
See, that's the thing. Pip the Troll... All I know about him is from Infinity Gauntlet, and he rolls around with Adam Warlock.
Maybe Adam Warlock will kill Harry Styles.
I have no clue what the fuck's going to happen, buddy. I really don't. When it comes to Eros, all I know is what happened in Infinity Gauntlet. All I know about Adam Warlock is from Infinity Gauntlet.
If Thanos comes back? It's not even like he's the bad guy of a movie. Euros is just doing some shit, and Thanos just for some reason comes back. Let's not even get into why. And he just shows up, and he just starts twisting Harry Styles up like he does with Euros in Infinity Gauntlet.
Then I'd be happy.
Kills him and leaves and never comes back.
That'd be fun.
That'd be good.
But yeah, so that was the first post-credit scene.
Right.
And he shows, Pip the Troll falls out of the portal. He says, "Oh, don't teleport drunk." And then he gives this big, long introduction. Says, brother of the Mad Titan Thanos. And this guy comes out, and I'm like, oh, shit. It's going to be, because when he says that, I'm like, ooh, Adam Warlock. Because Pip the Troll's rolling with Adam Warlock from what I remember in Infinity Gauntlet. Mm-hmm. And then he just goes, brother of the Mad Titan Thanos. I'm like, oh, Eros? Ooh, who the fuck's going to be him? And then he comes out, and I go, is that fucking Harry Styles? Like, I turned to Joey as Jake turned to you and asked the same exact question at the same time.
Yep.
Is that Harry Styles?
And I think Joey and I both had the same. I hope not.
No, Joey goes, yes, it is. Joey knows. Joe knows.
Joe knows.
And I don't know. Okay, so I know that Harry's making a push to be an actor.
Oh, sure.
And he did great in Dunkirk.
Mm-hmm.
But playing the brother of Josh Brolin, ex-One Direction member, Harry Styles.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I said it in the theater because it was such a knee-jerk reaction that this was just as upsetting as Ed Sheeran in Game of Thrones. Ed Sheeran in Game of Thrones was worse.
Oh, yeah. Well, because that was a cameo.
Yeah, it was a cameo and so egregious. Like, let's just get him to sing a minstrel song and make this scene last 5 minutes for no fucking reason other than we have Ed Sheeran, who I hate. I don't hate Harry Styles. I just don't like that ex-boy band guy is getting in on the Marvel stuff when we have so many other people. So many other people you can choose from.
So many.
I would have been stoked if it was like Baby Driver, Ansel Elgort. Dude, perfect. I would have been good with that. Or somebody older, actually. You know what? Somebody older would have been a better choice. That's what I'm feeling. But who knows what the fuck's going to happen. But he shows up and he's talking to Druig, Makari, and Thena, who are all looking at Earth, and they're like, hey, the Eternals are gone. And then he goes, hello, fellow Eternals. So straight out the gate, calls them all fellow Eternals, which makes me think that they're just going to make Thanos a straight up Eternal, And with that, I'm like, well, where the fuck's this going to go? I have a feeling either Thor or Captain Marvel, the Marvels, is going to be the thing that tells us what happens. But I have no fucking clue. No fucking clue. And then we got this whole Dark Knight, Black Knight thing.
Batman is
Batman.
in the Eternals.
He is in the Eternals.
Yeah, he is.
By mention.
And guess what?
We didn't
it's Ben Affleck.
Yeah, it is. It's Ben Affleck. And you know what it is? It's Ben Affleck doing the standing outside with the cigarette. That meme.
Yeah. Oh, God.
But, yeah, no, we'll see. We'll just have to see. Yeah. This was the most, like, tangential Marvel movie.
Big time.
Shang-Chi almost was until Wong brought it all together at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But this one definitely feels the most tangential because the post-credit scene don't have anything to do with any other character.
They just know that the Avengers exist because, of course, they do. And otherwise, there's really no Marvel stuff in this.
Right.
You know? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and, it's just all references across the board, and then it's its own thing. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I think it's all going to do is converge in space. Mm-hmm. Guardians 3.
It's gents? Are we doing a gents?
We're doing a gents.
Nice.
We're doing a gents in space.
Okay.
But it's going to be off Earth. This next event thing is going to be off Earth.
Think Kang's going to be part of it?
I don't know.
Okay.
But I think it's going to take place off Earth because you got Nick Fury in space going into the secret invasion.
It's true.
You got Thor and all the other
Battling
Love
God
and Thunderers.
Mm-hmm.
And then Guardians 3 and Eternals.
Mm-hmm.
And the Marvels. So that's 5 things that are set up for cosmic
space
shit.
People.
So, yeah, I think the next big event is going to take place off Earth, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, me too.
Give Earth a breather.
Yeah, let Earth just like
give
exist,
it a breather.
You know,
man.
put the TV shows on Earth. You know, keep them small, keep them fun, and then get cosmic.
Yeah.
You know, go crazy.
Because they'll have to enlist the people of Earth.
Right.
But
right.
I don't think it's going to be on Earth.
Tony Stark's coming back, dude.
Yeah. In a big way.
In a big way.
In a big way. He's going to be Mark Wahlberg.
You will know that Marvel is floundering if they bring Tony back. If they have to go get RDJ. Like, if they're doing well, they won't need to bring him or Steve back. They'll be fine. They'll be okay. But if they start not doing well and they bring them back, okay, that's when we're like...
You're just like, yikes, it's on its way out.
I don't know if we should watch these anymore. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yikes, yeah. Because... do you remember back when Robert Downey Jr. wasn't sure he was going to keep making Marvel movies, and Mark Wahlberg,
him, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, they've all done it.
Yeah, but it was around that same time that Chris Evans was doing it too. I think it was after Avengers: Age of Ultron, and Mark Wahlberg goes, "Oh, I want to play Tony Stark," and I'm like, "Do you know how fucking jarring that would be?" And also for him just be like, "Hey man, I'm a genius billionaire playboy philanthropist. I'm Iron Man. I am Iron Man." Huh?
I'll shoot you. Pew pew.
Yeah. Huh? Pew. Yeah. I'm the most brilliant mind in the fucking world.
Yeah. I'm more ripped than Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
You know, Captain America.
I put on the suit.
I put on the suit. Go a few rounds.
Yeah.
You see me in the fight? I mean, I can box. You see me against Happy Hogan?
I'm Mickey Ward. Dude.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. Speaking of people that go pew pew from their fingers, do a little finger blasting.
Let's talk about the Kumail, the Kingo himself,
our hero.
Yeah, because this was a big old deal.
Finger blasted those deviants, okay?
Yeah, he finger blasted the shit out of them.
And if you weren't careful, I mean, he made some of them go splat. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There was a lot of squirting from those blasts.
Jeez.
Yeah, blood squirt all over the place. Finger blasting a little too hard when that happens. And he kept doing it the sideways.
What if his big
and then the
Kamehameha were like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like, no, what if they were like this?
Taser? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, the taser. Yeah. No, the shocker. The shocker. That's what it is. Two of the pink, one of the stink, baby.
That's what Kingo does.
Yeah, Kingo does that.
Hey, what'd you think of Kingo's Bollywood? Bollywood skills.
So that's what I was going to address right out the gate, is I want to see this movie with Anjane before she even listens to this review, because I know she's going to listen to this review.
Right away.
It's like, you turn this off right now.
Stop it.
Because I want to see her react to the Bollywood sequence, because she's taken me to so many Bollywood movies that I've seen plenty of those routines. Every single one of them is a musical. Every single one of them, even if it's a comedy, has one of the most dramatic turns of all time, whether somebody gets raped or murdered.
Oh.
In a comedy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, and then it's just serious for the end of the movie.
Okay.
Yeah. They have a very unique filmcinematography style there.
Sure.
And watching this Bollywood sequence with Kumail Nanjiani, you got to say, pretty basic. Pretty basic.
Dude, his delts, though. Did you see those delts?
I did see those delts.
Those delts, dude.
And compared to like people like Ranveer Singh, that ain't it, Chief.
Uh-oh.
But maybe it's because he's Pakistani. That has nothing to do with it.
You might be burning a bridge with Kumail right now, dude.
No, I think what it was just the fact of the matter is, to make a real deal Bollywood scene takes so much goddamn coordination, production value, and all this stuff. So it was perfect for this movie. But as far as a actual Bollywood sequence, C-.
Yeah.
Pretty-
How do you feel that Marvel's trying to go, hey, guys, go see Bollywood movies, you know?
Go see Bollywood movies.
That's what Marvel's
I believe
doing.
that.
Yeah.
Because if you want to go see some of the most over-the-top, ridiculous action, don't go see the latest Michael Bay or Zack Snyder.
Do it. Don't.
Go see Bollywood.
That's right.
They have some of the best action sequences I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the pure point of the matter of you just being like, what the fuck are they doing?
That's right. That's right.
How are they expecting us to believe this is real?
You know?
Because there's no other fictional thing going on. It's like based in real reality.
Right.
And then the action sequence just goes so over the top that you're just like, what?
Hey, to get that
And then
reaction.
back to reality.
Something about Kingo that I really respected at the end there was that he didn't show up at the end. At the end fight. He
It
stepped
bummed
out.
us
because
out.
of his- right. I
It
was not
bummed us
happy
out.
about it.
But
I
he stayed
respected
true
it.
to his character.
He did. He followed his beliefs, as many people are doing these days, and was like, I support you guys, but I kind of am still kind of on Icarus's side, but I'm just going to remove myself from the situation. And
He was just like, I can't bring myself to hurt you guys.
yeah, exactly. So like,
He's like, I don't want you guys to do this. I know I can't stop you, and I won't try.
yeah,
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to hurt you guys. I don't want any part of this. Whatever happens will happen, and
Right.
I'll accept that.
Which will be
That was his
interesting
thing. He's
with-
like, I'll accept what'll happen.
it'll be interesting with him getting picked up and carried away by old big Celestial. What's his face? The big one, the main one. I don't remember.
What, Crowe?
No, the one that starts with an A, the Celestial.
Oh, Arishem.
Arishem. Because he could be like, I didn't want to do this.
I didn't do it.
This is not my
That
fault.
wasn't me.
This is not what you
That
can read
wasn't
my
me.
memories.
I was letting things happen.
Icarus got his ass kicked. Okay, flew in the sun. Okay, that's not my problem. So I think that could be a very interesting arc going forward.
Do you think Icarus is dead?
No.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think he's going to come back more powerful from the sun.
Yeah. He's taking a snooze. He's crying in the middle of the sun.
Yeah, because Icarus was Orion in New Gods, basically.
Right.
And Orion is the main new god,
Mm-hmm.
who, I mean, granted, he does get assassinated by a bullet that's fired and reversed in time. And
Oh, jeez.
DC gets pretty wild, man, with the new gods.
Pretty wild.
And Darkseid's a real motherfucker to him.
Of course.
But
What
no,
isn't Darkseid involved in?
I don't know. But it's like Jack Kirby came over and gave the gift of DC's greatest supervillain of all time. And then they canceled that story arc as he just went back to Marvel.
Oh, jeez.
Where Marvel made Thanos.
Yep.
Based off of Darkseid.
And now look where we're all at.
Look where we're all at.
Yeah. Way to go, DC.
We got a glimpse of Darkseid, but we didn't get a really good, strong Omega beam scene. I mean, we did see Omega beams in Atlantis, but not as well as I wanted.
No.
But
no.
to each their own. We shall see. Like I keep saying in this episode, we shall see. And with that, it is just,
It's all very exciting.
you just can't ignore that.
Can't control it.
So Eternals, you know what? I'm gonna bump that up to a 10 out of 10 because fuck these critics.
Hey, let's go. What a review this was. We got Sammy B to change his mind. That's a big one. That's a big one right there.
Yeah. But Kumail's character, very funny. Very, very
Hilarious.
funny. I loved that he had his valet come with him the whole time
making
doing
a
a documentary, and he had 3 cameras, backup cameras.
That's something I think Marvel does well is that like human perspective in a funny way mostly, but then like that one moment he's like, thank you. I really appreciate what all you are doing. I'll never forget you.
What you've done for humanity.
Yeah. And he's all sad. It made me sad.
Yep.
But also I was like, they're going to get it because of this.
Yep.
They're like, oh, you need a human to be like, thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
This is very important to me that you get this done.
For sure. Having the human perspective makes a big difference because, I mean, that's what made God of War 3 so easy. Watching the world get destroyed is because you played through 2 God of War games where there are these cataclysmic events and you don't care about the people. In fact, if you see anybody running around and you grab them and stab them, you get health.
Yeah, you do. You get points for that.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah. You can use them
you
as
have
weapons.
no human perspective in that game.
No.
And Thor, the only really human perspective is, the
Jane Foster.
Guardians and James Foster. She's like the only human that's been to Asgard besides Bruce Banner.
BB. Is he really a human? You purge. You get that out.
Well, that begs the question of Blade Runner, which I'm about to review right now.
All right, here we
What
go.
is human? No, it did bring up all these questions and more. I enjoyed it.
They will be back.
Yeah, is that what it said
Confirmed.
at the end? The Eternals will be back?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I did the thing.
Because I missed it because I was reacting to the Black Knight thing because I was flipping out. Because, Jack,
Who is the Black Knight?
Well, who spoke to the Black Knight? We didn't even mention that.
And, I mean, if we're to believe, King Arthur wanted to fuck Athena.
Yeah.
Big time.
Big time.
Big time. Okay.
Big time.
So is he going to all of a sudden, like, inherit his King Arthur privilege and he's going to want to bang Athena instead of Cersei? Like, what's up? Whoa.
Well, I don't even think the Black Knight has anything to do with Arthur himself.
Wow, we haven't seen him in the MCU.
I know that he has stuff to do with Merlin, an Arthurian legend.
You love. Oh! What the fuck are we the Watcher talks to him, dude.
Yes, Jack, that's what I was asking. That's what I was leading. I was like, who talked to the Black Knight?
That's right.
And you were not picking up what I was putting down.
I wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah, because that's how I missed the Eternals Will Return, was because I was like reacting. I'm like, who the fuck just talked to him? Because it cut to black, and then Joey just goes, it's the Watcher. And I'm like, yeah, that's Jeffrey Wright's voice.
Yeah.
Which means, holy shit, Marvel is just banging it with this what if thing. That
No, dude, they're unoriginal. They make the same thing every time.
Every time,
dude.
Every time. Don't go see a Marvel movie.
Don't
It's like
ever.
playing Call of Duty. They just do the same thing every fucking year.
We should ban these movies from being made. They're a detriment
They're
to our
a roller
society.
coaster, and the roller coaster gets less and less exciting the more you ride it. Fucking idiots. God. But yeah, no, so the Watcher steps in, talks to the Black Knight, and he goes, I don't think you want to do that, Dane Whitman. Or he's like, are you sure you want to do that, Dane Whitman?
Oh, gee.
And we're just like, wait. What? Wait.
Jeffrey, what are you up to, dude?
Jeffems McWright?
Jeffems McWright?
Come on now.
Tell us the truth.
Tell us the truth.
Tell us what you're doing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Come on.
It doesn't say he's credited, but also I don't think anybody's supposed to know that.
Yeah, and the crazy credits says there is a scene at the end of the closing credits. Dane Whitman opens a box containing the ebony blade, the weapon wielded by a Black Knight superhero, and that's it. Doesn't even say.
I don't even know if everybody else picked up on it.
I think if we're breaking that news to people, then yes, I hope so.
Welcome to the News Breaking Podcast.
Yeah, DMT exclusive because Joey Bustam's got a real sharp ear.
JB.
Give it up for the Joe Bust.
I thought it was Merlin doing the bippity boppities, you know?
I thought maybe too.
Yeah. Maybe Jeffrey Wright is Merlin, and he's also the Watcher.
Well, the voice, I was like, is that Chiwetel?
Oh, as
Is
Mordo?
it Mordo? I don't know, but it wasn't. Joey pointed it out, and I'm like, yeah, that's got to be Jeffrey Wright.
Big Joe.
Big Joe.
What a fun time seeing it with those boys.
I know.
Always my favorite,
Always.
seeing Marvel movies with our dudes.
With the dudes.
The dudes.
We were the dudes, now we're the Eternal dudes.
We're the Eternal dudes, as we always have been.
Yep.
And always will be.
Yep.
I call Gilgamesh.
Okay. I called Makari.
I also wanted Makari.
No!
Well, Gilgamesh dies. That's not fair.
Well, good. That means you'll be dead,
I'll be
and then I'll
Kingo.
be running around.
I'll be Kingo.
Okay, sure. I love the bit that he did. Oh, fuck. And I can't remember it. I loved it so much. It was when they were on the ship, and it cuts to Richard Madden and somebody else, and he's talking in the background. Because it was like Richard Madden and Druid traded like something for each other, and he's talking to Sprite, telling something.
I can't remember, but I do remember the scene. I can't remember what he said, though.
How'd you like that he was playing himself, playing his ancestors through generations?
Oh, that was funny.
Of like a dynasty of filmmakers.
Yeah. I've directed things. What?
Like what?
Internet content.
Reviews. I don't do it for the views.
That's what it was, I think. I don't do it for the views.
That was one of them. It was a different scene that he had another background thing that was really, really funny.
Just that stare down. And I love how it's like the intense thing. It's still going, and they cut to another character while he's doing it.
Yes.
I don't do it for the views.
Don't do it for the viewers. God, love Kumail.
Love Kumail,
Give
love
love-
Eternals. Let's make 10 more movies of these guys.
Yeah. Let's keep Marvel great again.
Let's keep Marvel great again. Let's do it.
All right, guys. I think that'll do it for us here. So let me hit this.
I gotta go
To the bathroom.
Yeah. Like, rate, subscribe. DMT Studios. Go check out Catching Up, which is on there right now. We are back up on video
Shout out to
as
Dana
well.
Constanzer. What a wonderful performance.
Yes. And buckle up for DMT Presents Table Reads. It's coming.
It is. It's very, 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 very,
Coming
very
up quick.
exciting. The biggest thing Sammy B and I have ever worked on.
And it's
It's very cool.
very satisfying.
Yeah. You guys are going to love it.
It's real big,
Yeah.
thick, and satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, make it like Cersei. Ooh.
Yep. Make it as gratuitous as that sex scene
That's
in the
right.
Eternals. Go email us if you guys have any like movie suggestions, which we probably won't even take because we have our four
stacked
slates that
Yeah.
we go through, and you know. The DMT PCast Instagram, DMT Podcast TikTok, which now that I have Adobe not being a bitch anymore, I'll start cutting the promos again.
Yeah.
SameyB_DMT, Silverback, Sasquatch 1162. Take it sleazy, Eternal McCheesy.
Love you guys.